Okay, this is section 13, the first 10 steps for setting up your business. Okay, the first 10 things to do is start with adjusting your image. You'll want to get a picture to put on your profiles that projects the image you want to project. And some folks are just real comfortable with wearing a swimsuit on their profile. I don't think that's probably the biggest draw that you can get, but maybe it is. And I've outlived my viability in this business. But anyway, adjust your look and on the profile. So you'll want to get a professional headshot done. Suggestion: JCPenney's, a local photographer, and or a local photographer, or you can take your own headshot. There's this link in the document. You'll get it in a PDF. Update your Facebook profile. When I started doing remote notary work, the first thing I did was build a little Facebook page and shared it with all my friends and family so that they would know, because guess what? They know people who, I don't look for them needing my services, but right off the bat, but it did start to expand, and I went and they've shared my page. And so that is a very easy way to start your promotions. Update your LinkedIn profile or establish one. And then you'll want to change your professional outgoing voicemail messages and your email signature. So this one is one that I like, and I wanted to share it with you because some people just don't know what to put on their voice outgoing message. Hi, this is Wiley Becker, owner of Becker's Notary and Professional Services. I'm either on the phone or away from my desk. Leave a message for me or text me. Okay, so tell them to text. I check my voicemail and text messages several times an hour, and I think that encourages them to do that. So you can also tell them to email you. And I do that, and I get messages all the time now. And I put everything that I have, I say, you can text or call me. And I get text messages because people would rather text than to pick up the phone and call. And I'm fine with that. So the next thing is step 5, purchase a website name or a URL, a domain, and get off of the Gmail for your email. You don't have to put up a website right away, but it's much more, it looks better, and it says you're serious about business if you at least have your email address set up to something that relates to a business-like situation. So do a search for professional email hosting, because we have, I think it's Jake uses GoDaddy. I got my last website through Google, and so I use Google. I mean, they have like Google Workspace, but it runs through, you can still run it through Outlook if you want to. But this is a very easy way to improve your image, and it sure does look better than grandma or hog varmint killers at gmail.com, because it's just, that just doesn't sound professional. And I have seen names almost just exactly like this, and I'm just like, oh my goodness. But as time has gone on, I don't think it is so startling to see those things anymore. But it's definitely more professional as an image changer to have that website and email address. One of my favorite, like I said, I've got mine at Google, and for $12 a month, I have a, easy to build website and the email. So another thing that you can do is to establish an email signature. And y'all have probably noticed, because you've all gotten emails from me, that I have an email signature that says it states my online notary business, and to go to my website of stonedigital.me, and that you can, just contact me from there. So you could also, I don't have a tagline on mine because I'm not that clever, but if if you have a tagline or a motto, a branding, a thing to brand yourself with, then put it on there. Okay, let's see. Okay, I have just recently invested in another different CRM. Up until this time, I was using Excel spreadsheets, which is fine, but a CRM is a customer relationship management strategy or tool to manage your customers and just stay in touch with them. It relies heavily on an email list service, because when you email people, like, I don't send out a lot of emails to as an email, like a newsletter. I don't send out a lot. I don't send them out unless I've got something to tell you. But you always need to have an unsubscribe place on your newsletter or your mail outs, because if you don't, then you're starting to spam people. So an email list provider can help you maintain that. And so ymlp.com is one that's very inexpensive. If you're going to email your clients just to stay in touch and that sort of thing, then you just want that little unsubscribe link on there so that they can get off your email list and you won't ever bother them again. I use one called Agent CRM, and I like it so far. I've just started using it, but to have that set up ensures that you're going to be regularly checking in, but not annoying. Now, I think mine could get annoying, but I've put the brakes on it so it doesn't get out there and start emailing everybody all the time. So one of the most valuable services, though, is that unsubscribe button. So find these services and start using them. You know what? You can even make a Google form and just put your, just every time somebody wants to be on your email list, or after you've served a customer, then you can just put that information in your Google form, and then it goes into an Excel spreadsheet, and then you're able to, not an Excel, but a Google Doc spreadsheet, and then you can keep it right there handy. So the main thing is, though, you want to start collecting information about your clients and put it in one place, because so many people depend solely on LinkedIn and Facebook or social media for their way of talking to their customers. Let me tell you something. I have seen things come and go and change in the business, and you need to have control of how you reach out to your clients, because, well, just think of this, and this is no comment on political things at all, but Parler, the plug was pulled on Parler because Amazon felt it was appropriate. Well, I don't know why whoever built Parler wasn't thinking, you know what, we could be just taken off of this platform. And that's what I'm saying with I learned this from a digital marketer, and she said, don't ever let somebody else be in control of your audience. You control your audience. So always have a way to reach them. I set up a Texas Notary Professionals directory so that I could stay in touch with Texas notaries. And because, we've got all these groups on Facebook, but hey, Facebook could get say, all right, now y'all gonna have to pay for these groups. Or if, for some reason they can just take those groups away. So that's why I say you need to have a way to keep up with your client information and a way so that they can say, don't bother me anymore. MailChimp is another one that you can look into. MailChimp.com, that's an email service. And there's YLP. So there you go. All right. So that's enough on that. Now, you need to set some goals for your business, and that goes along with making a business plan. I have a friend who's in the salvage business. She and her husband were, and they've sold now and gone on to retire. But I asked her, I remember when they bought the business and they made it quite successful. And so I asked her, did y'all have a business plan? And she said, basically what we did. Now they didn't go into all this little, lots of detail, but they knew what kind of business they wanted. They knew how much money they wanted to make. And so they had goals to get there. So that's the first thing you need to do is say, okay, really, how much money can I plan on making in a week? And but don't make it too low or too high, but something attainable. And then, say, okay, like maybe in 3 weeks, I could be making that, or a month or 2 months. It just kind of depends on where you are and getting set up with your profiles and everything. But you just say, okay, I am going to market myself every day, no matter what. I'm going to market myself until I start seeing those assignments come in so that I'm making $500 a week. Okay, so, or just whatever, because that's an achievable amount pretty early in your career. So every day, you just say, okay, no matter what, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to reach out to 5 companies or 5 different places. And if that's where you are, or, you may have to start back here. I'm going to get my credentials together so that I can start marketing. So those are the kind of goals I'm talking about. Just know where you need to be so that you can start going there. Just saying, I'm going to see where it turns out or what happens. That really will not get you any kind of business. It won't get you where you need to be. So make sort of a roadmap for where you're going. Identify your work area, like where are you going to work? Figure out the cost of doing business for each assignment. And we went over that in the calculator. Start setting tentative fees. I remember when I started, there was not, notaryrotary.com was the place that you could go and kind of talk with other notaries. And I've just read about what notaries were talking about. And there was a lot of griping about fees then, just like there is now. But I thought, well, you know what? I'm just going to start asking, well, what do you pay for this type of assignment? And they will tell you a pretty decent, they'll give you something close to the top. And when a hiring party is, well, you get it on SnapDocs now and signing order, they offer you a fee. So that's kind of in a ballpark. It's not way out there. So you take that and, maybe you try to raise it a little bit and maybe it works in your area. I have found on that raising it too much in my area does not get me hired. If I through those well, I'm only on order. I'm not on SnapDocs. But if I want those jobs, then I'm going to have to, sort of stay in their price range. So somebody's getting it for that amount. So, but you're going to lose some, you're going to win some. You might lose a little bit on a fee, but just start somewhere and don't be afraid to lose a little money. You're going to gain experience. So get out there and just do that. Okay. We have already talked about tentative setting fees. We've talked about figuring out how to reach your goals, and that's just something only you can figure out. Part of your roadmap will include setting up your office, purchasing equipment, and budgeting for expenses. And I can tell some of you are in that right now. Some of you are way past it. Some of you are haven't even gotten started yet. And we've already discussed equipment and services plus how to plan for profit. Previously, this used to be our section 4 before we flipped up and put the loan document presentation at the front. So I need to change that. That's what that meant. But anyway, that's why it sounds like it's upcoming. It's not. We've already discussed it. So you can also see just a little map here. It's not really much difference than this, but it might make you might like seeing it that way. I'll just open it up real quick and you can see how I did it. This is available to you through this document that I'm looking at right now and I'm going to send to you. So for instance, where are you going to provide services? You list the zip codes as far away as you're willing to go and then figure out how much you want to travel. What would your base fee be? Then how much would you add to it for the travel? So, you just need to start that, because when you're not doing anything yet, you need to have establish this information base for yourself. You may not, your general notary work hours may be different than your loan signing work. One thing we did not touch on are I-9 services. And I'll just quickly tell you what that is. It's when the USCIS.gov, that it's a form that they put out and you have to, and so people look for notaries to do this. It's not notary work, but they look for notaries to do it. And they'll ask you to fill out a piece of paper verifying that you've seen their ID. Well, I do that. I do a couple of those a week. If they will meet me at Whataburger, which is a mile from my house, then I only charge them $15 to $20 because, literally, it is a 15-minute process for me. If I have to go to their home, I often quote $35 to $50. And so, because that just, it just encourages them to come right here. So I'm in and out, and it can be so much better than going somewhere. And my time is more valuable to me because I am a writer. I write articles and I write, so maximizing my time is important. Your scale may be different. So you would rather collect that and go travel. Let's see, you need to know exactly what services you're going to provide. Like I said, base fees and travel fees. You have access to all of this. And so I'm not going to belabor the point, but this will drive you through. You need to know where you're going to go, when you're going to do it, what services you'll provide, who you're going to reach out to, how you're going to do it, and you're going to need to know why should anybody use your services. What advantage do you have over other notaries? How will you outwork other notaries? And what will make your customers come back to you? So that is a little overview of making an easy business plan. I'm going to put this in the chat right now, so you will have it. And I know there's some questions here, but my buddy, I think, has stepped away. Okay, good. We've got, he has, shoot, there he is. I knew that was him telling me about the mugshots in GoDaddy. Okay, so that's this link. But I am going to send this document to y'all right after that we finish up here today. So let me get back over here to Mr. Let's see, get back here. Okay, so there we go. The roadmap, okay, and that's where we've covered it, and there's the map. All right, so that ends this section. I'm going to stop the recording and stop the share for just a moment, and we will be right back on this shortly.